Hello students, welcome to SUFA E-class. In the previous lecture, we have studied the circular motion and centripetal force. Now today in this lecture, we are going to study the laws of planetary motion, which are also known as Kepler's laws of planetary motion. Student, planetary motions were observed by the astronomers since ancient times. Before Galileo, all the observations related to the position and motion of the planet were made with the naked eyes. Around 16th century, lot of data is available about the observations and study of planetary positions. So, Sir Johannes Kepler observed this data which is already available. So, he studied that data related to the position and motion of planet deeply, and he noticed that the position and motion of planet, especially the motion of planet, follows certain laws. So he made the laws which are known as Kepler's laws of planetary motion. So student, now today we are going to study the Kepler's laws of planetary motion in detail. So before Galileo, all the position, all the motions of the planet were observed with the naked eyes, and then after the 16th century, lot of data is available for the scientists to study the data related to the planets and universe. So now we will see the Kepler's laws of planetary motion. So student, what is the Kepler's first law of planetary motion? Let's see. So student, observe this diagram. In this diagram, you can observe that yes, the planet, this is the sun, the position S is denoted as the sun, and the position of a planet is denoted by A. So student, this A planet is revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit. Means the orbit of revolution of a planet around the sun is an ellipse with the sun at one of its foci. Student, ellipse is a part of a conic section. Suppose this is the diagram of ellipse, the oval shaped diagram. It is nothing but the ellipse. Ellipse is nothing but it is a part of cone. From conics, there are three sections in the conic: parabola, hyperbola and ellipse. So the speciality of this elliptical diagram is it has two focus, F1 and F2. So we have this elliptical orbit, the diagram of elliptical orbit, where the planet is revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit. So if you will observe, one focus will be here and one focus will be here. So this, out of these two focus, at one foci we have keep the sun. So the planet, the Kepler's first law is the orbit of revolution of a planet around the sun is ellipse with the sun at one of its foci. So this is the Kepler's first law. Kepler's first law is very easy. Just it is a basic law which just shows the orbit of revolution of a planet. That is, the orbit of revolution of a planet around the sun is nothing but it is an ellipse with the sun at one of its foci, with the sun at one of its focus. So student, you have to note this first law, Kepler's first law of planetary motion. Now we will study the Kepler's second law. Kepler's second law. So student, Kepler's second law of planetary motion can be stated as the line joining the planet and the sun. See this line, this SA or AS, the line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal areas in equal interval of time. So the line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal area in equal interval of time. So I will write here the law: the line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal areas in equal interval of time. So student, if you will observe this diagram, then the position of planet is at A before revolution. Then after revolution, this planet A, the planet which is at the position A, travels the distance AB. Means it moves from A towards B and it travels this distance AB. So while traveling this distance AB, this planet covers area ASB. This planet covers the area ASB. So the time required for a planet to cover the area ASB is equal to the time required by a planet to cover the area CSD. And the area is also same. Area ASB is equal to area CSD. Yes. Area ASB is equal to area CSD. Student, remember that while traveling from A to B, the planet covers area ASB and the time required by the planet to cover area ASB is equal to the time required by a planet to cover the area CSD. And area ASB is equal to area CSD. This means that, yes, time required to cover area ASB is equal to time required to cover area CSD. So student, this is the area traveled by the planet, the area swept by the planet, the area swept when the position of planet is from A to B, and the area swept by the planet from the position C to D are equal, and the time required to travel by a planet from A to B is equal to the time required by the planet from C to D. Means when planet move from A to B, the time required for a planet to move from A to B is equal to the time required by the planet to move from C to D. And these areas, suppose I am making this area, I am just marking this area, and these areas are equal. The area ASB is equal to area CSD, and the time required to travel A to B and time required to travel C to D are equal. So student, this proves that Kepler's second law, the line joining the planet and the sun sweep equal areas in equal interval of time. Means this is AS is the line. This joins the planet and the sun. So it sweeps the area and goes to SB. So AS and SB. This is the sweep of the planet while moving from A to B. This is covering the area. So it covers the area and then it covers the area from C to D. So it covers the equal areas in equal interval of time. Now we will move towards the Kepler's. So the students, what is Kepler's third law? The Kepler's third law states that the square of period of revolution of a planet around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of mean distance of a planet from the sun. So this is nothing but Kepler's third law of planetary motion. One more time I am telling you, the square of period of revolution of a planet around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of mean distance of planet from the sun. So student, this mean distance of a planet from the sun can be considered as r and the period of revolution can be considered as t. So according to Kepler's third law, according to Kepler's third law of planetary motion, the square of period of revolution, so period of revolution is t, so t square, the square of period of revolution is directly proportional, that is we will take alpha, that is directly proportional to the cube of mean distance, that is r cube, the cube of mean distance of planet from the sun. Suppose the mean distance of planet from the sun is r and the period of revolution is t, so t square is directly proportional to r cube. We can write t square is equal to constant multiplied by r cube. So student, we can write it t square upon r cube is equal to constant k. So we can say that k is equal to t square upon r cube. This is nothing but the Kepler's third law of planetary motion. So student, remember that Kepler's third law of planetary motion, all the three laws of Kepler's is very important to you. So you have to study well. Now Kepler obtained these laws by simply observing the position of planet and the motion of planet. So student, note these three laws of Kepler. Kepler's three laws of planetary motion. Now we will move towards the next part in the next lecture. Thank you.